The fossil record shows that the average mammalian species, and yes, we are all mammals who like to do it like they do it on the Discovery Channel, lasts about a million years. We've only been around about 200,000 years, which is roughly as long as this speech will feel. So if our species were, God forbid, just one human being, then we'd be around sweet 16, just old enough to start getting into trouble with a member of the royal family. The problem is that we all think the world is just for our gratification and our pleasure. We're all very narcissistic and believe that someone will always clear up our mess, because they have in the past, you know? We have to learn that the world is not some sort of indestructible toy. God knows I wish those existed. It would have saved me a lot in child support over the years. Now listen, I'm not one of these annoying green people who take a moralistic view of this. You know, you can save the world and still be a total asshole. That's my solemn promise to you. As the Cookie Monster once said, and I quote, "Early bird gets the worm, but cookie tastes better than worm, so me sleep in." But he was wrong, of course, because we mustn't sleep in, because if we miss the worm of net zero, then we'll be left with the cookie of climate change, which is worse, although I've made it sound quite tasty. The COVID crisis has shown that we must listen to gloomy scientists. Could have just said scientists, just like I did when they told me not to shake hands with patients in the COVID ward, and then I did, and then I got COVID and I got very ill, in fact. And I feel like I've gone off the point a bit here. I must say something in Greek. Moussaka. We only have 40 days until COP26, which was coincidentally my score in the game we used to play in Oxford. How many freshers can you cop off with in a week? 26. Legend. But no, look, it's very serious. We need to go to Glasgow and make sure that everybody comes back with a smile. The ice caps will melt like the ice cubes in your martinis here in New York. I should have said Manhattans. If we don't act, then higher temperatures are going to be baked in, like a cake from the Great British Bake Off. One export from the UK people actually want. If we don't act, then our grandchildren will know that we were the culprits. And for me, God knows that could be a lot of people. Like the great Ronnie O'Sullivan might say, who plays snooker, a fantastic game, very popular in the UK, of course. I'll show you how to play another time. It's a bit like pool. He might say, we don't want to miss our cue. Yeah, because it's like a cue, because they play with cues. It's like a stick you hit the balls with, or as the Romans might say in their Latin tongue, lido pila. Bit of a slow burn. Not like the planet. Zing! And as people like to quote from the great works of Greek tragedy, or as I like to do, I'd like to quote from the Lego Movie, who said, if you remember, everything is awesome, and it's now humanity's solemn choice to decide whether we shall be awesome in the Wayne's World, kind of awesome kind of way, or will it be more, oh, someone's done a poo in the bath again. Boris, you dirty boy, clean it up. Sorry, Nanny, but I thought you cleaned up after me. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to COP. Welcome to Glasgow, as they like to call it around here, and to Scotland, whose most famous fictional son may be Ur Woolley, the mischievous little boy who gets himself into all sorts of scrapes, which always end badly. We might not all look like Ur Woolley, well, it's fair to say that I do, but the tragedy is that this is not a cartoon strip, and the scrapes that we are in are all too real. For centuries, we have been knitting ourselves a blanket of CO2, but not a good blanket, like the kind of blanket you might hide under when your girlfriend's husband comes back unexpectedly, but a bad blanket, like one that someone's knitted so that they can see you hiding under it. I was there in Copenhagen, where I told people, as the Mayor of London, that I would encourage them to insulate their homes. And now, just 11 years later, we have protesters saying the very same thing, gluing themselves to the roads. So in many ways, I was ahead of the game. You know? I mean, if only there had been someone in the meantime with some power who could have done something about it. I was there in Paris, where the world agreed that net zero was a good idea. Although at the time I thought that was something to do with banning fishing, so I was against it, but I've come round to it now. And I was in the House of Commons just last month, where we cut passenger fuel duty for domestic flights and didn't mention climate change once during the budget. So I think it's fair to say that I am doing all that I can. If we don't act, all of these promises will just be no more than blah, blah, blah. Although, to be fair, you could replace all of my speech with those words. As we work, let's think about all those billions of beady eyes watching us all around the world. And let's try not to be too embarrassing. I'm mostly talking to you, of course. That ship has very much sailed for me. And let's think of the unborn. I like to think I've got a few more of those in me. I'm going to finish with a line I always use every time I get married. Yes, it's going to be hard, but yes, we can do it. Hello, everybody, and it's fantastic for me to be here in Tyneside. I'm the, forgive me, Prime Minister. I know many of you worked very hard to provide masks and gowns and the like. I want to thank you for that, especially those of you who were Tory party donors and had no experience of making PPE. You were such an inspiration to me because I didn't have any idea what I was doing either. Who's had their booster? Put your hands up. This audience is a bit too young and thrusting, isn't it? I mean, I'm not young anymore, of course, although still thrusting. You know what I mean? We are well placed to get back to normal quicker than any comparator country. Good old herd immunity, which was never the plan. Yes, we're still bumping elbows and wearing masks. I mean, not me, obviously. It's a moral mission. I think as you get older, you get less cynical and more idealistic. Or they should try telling that to my voters. Look, electric vehicles, or EVs, might not have the soft burble of a suckling pig, or the combustion engine, or the as you zoom down the motorway, or the as you overtake an ambulance, or the neenor of the police chasing you, or the as you shoot out the back window, and the sorry, I've lost my place. Forgive me. What was I saying? Trains. We can't just keep carving our way through virgin countryside. Although enough about my 20s. We need to bring back old lines, upgrade them, do a reverse beaching, if you will, which is coincidentally the name of my favourite sexual position. We need a green revolution, for which we have set up a 10-point plan. Starting with number 5, look at new wallpaper. Number 8, do something about Dom. Number 1, leak something about Rishi. Sorry, no, this is my to-do list. Where are we? Okay. Here we are. Number 1, champagne. Number 2, condoms. No, this is my shopping list. They say people want to work from home. They want to see you next Tuesday. That's actually something that Carrie says to me sometimes. Oh, I've just worked it out. Yeah. We need to focus on skills. Like how to competently read out a speech. We need fintech, ad tech, green tech, red tech, blue tech, yellow tech, orange tech, purple tech, TikTok tech, tech. Forgive me. So much tech, it's like we'll be in 15th century Mexico. Do you get it? I'm referencing Tenochtitlan, the 15th century Aztec capital of Mexico. The only explanation for that attempted joke is I was trying to win a bet. Finally, I went to Eminem's World on Leicester Square this weekend. Has anyone been? No, you must go. I loved it. Very much my kind of establishment, because it's inexplicably popular, basically pointless, and ruining a place with a great history. A bit like me. And you get to put a picture of yourself on a sweet, and I've always wanted to eat myself. My favourite sweets, of course, M&M's, apart from Peppa Pigs. I mean Percy Pigs. Peppa Pigs. Forgive me. I think I got away with that. Do you like it? It says, just don't. That's our new slogan for drugs. Yeah, I got it originally from Carrie. She said to look at it every time I was thinking about having more children. Oh. I told my people we need to get serious about drugs, and they said, well, why don't we deal with structural inequality and try to improve people's working conditions so they feel like they've got more opportunities in life? And I was like, yes, or I could wear a hat. Look, it's been a long time since we had a government who said that drugs are bad. Well, they are. They're really bad. And so expensive these days. We're working on rolling up networks and then putting them in wraps and then smoking those networks or snorting them or injecting them or... Sorry, I've lost my train of thought. The thing is, we know there is a specific group of people who are the issue. Around 300 problem Tory MPs that we have to keep happy, and they all wish they'd lived during a war, so the war on drugs is going to have to do. Crime has actually been coming down over the last 2 years, as long as you don't consider anything that this government's done is criminal. And if you do, well, that's what our new judicial review bill is for. We're investing millions of pounds in the police to investigate crimes, starting from now. Anything that happened in the past is off the table, especially Christmas parties. We're specifically targeting those middle-class lifestyle drugs users. They're the real problem. No, I think you'll find if you're in the cabinet, you're automatically upper class, unless you're Nadine. We won't just take away their passports and their driving licenses, we'll also ban them from Deliveroo and give them a 1-star rating on Uber, so they won't be able to go anywhere or get anything, unless they have a ministerial car. When they arrest a drug dealer, the police are going to go through their phone and send warning messages to all of their clients. It reminds me of when I once borrowed Theresa May's phone and sent a message saying that she was trapped in a well and needed help to all of her friends, and both of them ignored it. Great days. We are investing millions of pounds into policing and absolutely none into the court system, so we'll catch them, keep them for a bit, and then have to send them back. It's a bit like fishing. I wonder if that's why they call it county lines. Okay, are we done? Good evening. Don't get too excited, it's not one of those announcements. I'm not resigning, yet. And I'm also not announcing another lockdown, yet. I'm afraid I also don't have time to address the scandal. But what can I say? Hamilton was robbed. I'm here tonight to speak to you with my serious voice, but I still will not brush my hair. Although, let's face it, you wouldn't like it if I brushed it now. We delivered the fastest vaccination rollout in Europe, because God knows we needed to. It's only due to the extraordinary efforts of the NHS that we've done so well, and only due to the extraordinary efforts of my government that they're still so under-resourced. A fortnight ago, we said we'd offer a booster jab to every adult by the end of January. Well, I'm now moving that up to by the end of tomorrow, and crucially, I won't be telling anyone in the NHS about this until this very moment. So that's an exciting surprise for them on a Sunday evening, isn't it? I do hope the booking system holds up. There's not much we can do about it now. It's not like this is pre-recorded. We will guarantee that every adult will be offered a booster in the next 2 days. Children don't count, obviously. If we need more, I'm happy to oblige. Although do bear in mind that I said offered there, just like when Matty Hansbum said we were doing thousands of tests, and by doing, he meant sending in the post. I miss that little idiot. On the subject of tests, it's vitally important that everybody takes lateral flow tests as often as possible, which is why we haven't prepared for any sort of massive rush in demand, and we will find there are none available starting from now. But never fear, I'm sure that soon enough we'll get a call from a Tory party donor with some cotton buds and a dream. Some of you might be thinking, but what if this variant is less severe? Isn't this an overreaction? To which I say no. For once I'm actually invoking the precautionary principle, and many of my MPs might vote against me now for doing the right thing after months of doing the wrong thing. Isn't life funny? Not that I'm worried about a leadership contest just yet. You'd have to be a complete psychopath to want to take over now, so that rules out at least 2 of the candidates. So, my message is clear. Get boosted now. Get boosted now, like you're a car that's been left unlocked outside the Tory party conference. Get boosted now, like you're the Labour Party's poll numbers every time I say anything. And get boosted now, like you're a chocolate bar filled with caramel, a biscuit and a soft cocoa. Sorry, a little bit hungry. I didn't get any dinner. I was too busy finishing off some multiple choice questions. Get boosted now. And once we've done that, I think we'll all deserve a party. Don't you? Too much? Good afternoon. From today, every eligible adult in the United Kingdom will be able to book a booster jab if you can get through the online queuing system. Think of it like trying to get a ticket for Glastonbury, but for an essential medical service. You know, fun. And it's very important that you do, because there's a tidal wave of Omicron cascading down the country, a bit like my opinion poll ratings, with over 78 billion cases today, the highest ever figure. It's actually only 78,000. Oh, yes, 78,000 cases. Looks like we're doing better than I thought. Go us. Things are going so well, but also things are really bad at the moment. And I'm not just talking about my prospects of leading the party into the next election, but we're also seeing signs of hope. Since I announced the Omicron super duper Let's Get Boosted party on Sunday night, the greatest prank pulled on the NHS since Andrew Lansley, thousands of people have been getting jabbed. I want to thank our jabtastic volunteers and our jabalicious doctors as we ramp up to a jabathon, a jabtacular, a full-scale jabageddon. We're going to jab Omicron till it's black and blue, then give it both barrels in the face with our jab gun, before burying it in a COVID-safe coffin made of jabs. Also, we're removing the 15-minute wait time from after your jab, so you can go straight from there to a party, if it hasn't been cancelled. Chris. So if you look at this slide, you'll see that we're currently dealing with 2 epidemics, Omicron and stupidity. They're both spread very widely, and at this stage it's not clear which one will win. I know who I've got my money on. Cases of Omicron are rising very fast and doubling every 2 days, so we are going to break a lot of records. And not just of the number of children born in 10 Downing Street. In fact, if nothing changes, then we could see extremely high case numbers over the next few weeks, maybe even as high as 1 million. Oh, I don't think we'll get anywhere near 1 million confirmed cases. We just don't have the testing capacity. What I would say is that you should start to prioritise the events that you really want to go to and deprioritise the ones that you don't. But don't let that stop you going out and enjoying yourselves and spending money, because God knows we won't be giving any more support to the hospitality industry. I mean, for one thing, Rishi's in California and I've lost his number. Or he's not returning my calls, not quite sure which. Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying don't go out and socialise, I'm just saying that I wouldn't if I were you. I don't imagine you're much of a party animal anyway, are you, Chris? I have my moments. I'd like to see that. I hope you never do. Nikki, I'd just like to add that nobody told me which camera to look at. Looks good to me. Look, are you going to break the golden rule? What? Nothing. What's your reaction to the North Shropshire by-election? Clearly, it was a disappointing result. I totally understand that people are frustrated. They elected me to get Brexit done. It turns out that they were the ones who got done. I hear what people are saying. Literally, people often shout at me in the street. In all humility, I have to accept the result. I think I'm probably the most humble man that ever lived. What voters want us to focus on is them and their priorities. Except those voters for whom the priority is getting rid of me. We are deprioritising them. People want us to focus on the stuff that matters, like the vaccine rollout and the Get Boosted Now and the scare people about crime and refugees and the economy that's growing the fastest in Europe, and don't leave a space here for them to ask if that's just because it's coming from the lowest base. You shouldn't have read that bit out. Basically, what's been going wrong, Sam, is that you, a political reporter, have been focusing on politics and politicians, rather than simply regurgitating government press releases about how everything's going so well. So is it any wonder that people are annoyed? Do you accept that you are part of the problem? Look, with all humility and respect due to you, which is rapidly diminishing, those are the sorts of questions about politics and politicians that nobody likes, because when they hear the answers, they just get very, very angry. And nobody wants that, especially at Christmas. Of course I'll get round to fixing it, but that might be a bit tricky, because the it is basically me. Listen, Omicron is a serious threat. We've even got the army here helping out. I'm only mentioning that to remind you that there are men with guns nearby that I could order to shoot you. Not that I would, obviously. With all due respect. So what should people do this Christmas? You have to think about your budget of risk. Oh, sorry, Rishi says I'm not allowed to use the B word. We trust in the good sense and the responsibility of the British public, because that's worked so well in the past. My final question now, thank God for that. Are you going to resign? What have I just been saying? Am I talking to a wall? You've broken the golden rule. Nobody wants to hear questions about politics or politicians or my corruption or my incompetence. People just don't want to hear that. People want to hear songs and jokes and stories. A political interview never went to #1 in the charts, did it? Are you trying to tell me what questions to ask? Finally, you're getting it. Are we done? As coronavirus cases continue to rise, the Prime Minister lets us in on the government's long-term strategy. Basically it's get boosted and then fingers crossed. And we also asked Boris Johnson where he was over the festive period. Well, I was in this country, wasn't I? I definitely didn't go anywhere. And even if I did go somewhere, I definitely didn't get drunk and then take some nude photos of myself on a hotel balcony. And I definitely didn't send those photos to the cloud and accidentally email my password to my ex-wife. I definitely didn't do any of that, so I don't even know why you're asking the question.